So, someone asked me the other day, how about my testimonial? When I mean testimonial, I mean the time I gave myself back to God. Basically, April 12th, 2016 was the day that it all happened. Short story to digress, before that, I'd lived myself kind of in a world of anger and violence, and actually was very hateful towards God because I blamed Him for all my issues. Because at that time, I felt that I was pretty selfish, is what it comes down to. So when things would bad happen, I figured, you know what, it's God being vengeful on me for the things I've done in my past. Because everybody said God is a loving God, but also I remembered that God is a vengeful God. So that became a love-hate relationship, I guess, but more of the hatred side. Well, anyways, on April 12th, just move forward, I was on my way back from Springfield. I was in a truck. I've been a truck driver for about 25 years, and I was hauling a load of steel back from Springfield. And as casual as I'm talking to you right now, I felt, you know what, today was a good day to die. Now, I had suicidal thoughts and attempts in the past, and I had failed, and really, my failures in those never really came to their clarity until this day, and we'll get to that in another video. But pretty much, we were heading back from Springfield, and with this decision in mind, I knew exactly what I was going to do, and I was just as casual as you and I are talking now, and I knew exactly where it was going to happen. There was a bridge right past Clinton that I was just going to take the truck right over. I was done. I'd had it, and I figured I'd caused enough misery in my life and for the people around me that really there was just no purpose for me anymore. I've been married 3 times, and I failed all 3 times. First one was 13 years, second one was about 5 months, and the third one was 6 years. So at that point, I figured, you know what, evidently I can't do anything right. And so I figured it was time for me to go to wherever I was supposed to go, because here was just not working for me anymore. So as I'm heading back, I had my phone connected to my radio in the truck via aux cord, and I put on the heaviest music I could find, and I'm talking about anything and everything that's about the Antichrist as they come, because I haven't deleted everything else off my phone. I was in this darkness of a world, and I didn't want any type of light to be shown whatsoever. So as I'm cruising down the road, if the music was not heavy enough, I'd actually skip past it to find something heavier. So as I'm coming, I'm right outside of Clinton, Missouri, and as I'm slowing down, I should say, all of a sudden a song comes on that I recognized right out of the gate, and I was like, wait a minute, I deleted all these. This shouldn't even be on my phone. So I reach up and I try to skip, hit skip, and it doesn't skip. I try to reach up and hit skip again, it doesn't skip again. So now we're about, 30 seconds into the song, and I'm getting mad, I'm getting violent. So as your normal anger would do, I reached up and hit my phone hard enough that it knocked it off its mount and now on the floor. Too far away that I can reach it. So now I'm just getting even more mad, and you know what? I was like, I got you. So I went to reach up and turn off the radio, and my seatbelt locks down. And I sit so low and so back in my seat in my truck that I now cannot even reach the radio. And I am becoming more violent, more angry, about to pull my knife out and cut the seatbelt. That's how it was getting. The song is still playing, and all of a sudden, I can't even explain it, and it's hard to really put it into words, but this sudden feeling of letting it go just came over me. I started to get emotional to the point where I couldn't even drive. I ended up having to pull over to the side of the road because I was so emotional about everything, and tears were I was just a blubbering mess, honestly. And I'm yelling at the top of my lungs, if you truly want all of this, you can have it, because I can't live this way anymore. I can't live with this anger, this hatred, this violence, this complete life of just darkness. I mean, it was horrible. It was ruining me. It was ruining the people around me. It was affecting my children, my grandchildren, and I just couldn't take it anymore. So at that point, I finally kind of straightened up enough that I texted my pastor, who I hadn't really spoken to or been back in church for probably a good 5 years. And I texted him and I asked him if Bible study was still on Wednesday nights. Now this was a Tuesday night, and normally he's very busy and it takes him a little while to respond to anything. So I texted him and asked him if Bible study was, tomorrow night. I asked him if he was going to be there and if him and I could talk. And when I tell you that almost immediately, I don't think I put my phone down before he responded yes, yes, and yes. Now, I've noticed in my life that things always seem to happen in threes. It's always weird, whether they're good, bad, indifferent, ugly, always happen in threes. So, after I was able to compose myself, I got myself back on the road and I headed home. So, at that point, the next day, I went to Bible study that night, and when I walked in, everybody was there who I haven't spoken to, seen, had any contact with in almost 5 years, welcomed me back with open arms as if I had never left. And again, just overwhelming, absolutely overwhelming. And as the Bible study started, I'm listening to the pastor and we're going through our normal studies, and about 30 minutes into it, he comes to sit down, and I thought we were going to go and talk at that time, but instead he had brought up a up-and-coming pastor, and one of their steps is to preach to us a sermon, just a short sermon, whatever was on their heart. So as I'm sitting there, I have never met this guy in my entire life. Never seen him, never met him, didn't know who he was. And he started his sermon, and as he's talking, he is hitting on every keynote that I was struggling with. And I can't even tell you how that impacted me. I mean, everything that I had questions about, everything that I was debating and just questioning about my existence, he hit right on the money. And I was floored. Again, emotional, not able to understand what is going on. So after that little ditty, Bible study came to an end, and Pastor took me to the his office, and we were talking, and I told him about what had happened, and about, his name is Woody, the guest pastor, and or up and coming pastor, and what his sermon did. And we were talking about many different things, and I ended up going to church that next Sunday, and I met Woody, and he had told me that he was actually going to do a sermon on something a little different, but right before the Bible study, something that came upon his heart to talk about what he did, and he didn't know why or what was happening, and that he had hoped that he would touch at least one person. And well, I can tell you right now that it impacted me in far many ways than I could ever imagine. So after that, my priority became my relationship with God, because obviously I was at the point where I was not going to be good to anybody, whether it's me or my family, my children, or if I ever met anybody again. So that became my main focus, and that's all I've ever done since then is focus on that. And the crazy thing is that as I met people throughout the next, 2, 3, 4 months, 6 months, whatever it was, I told them, number one, that my relationship with God is the number one thing. And honestly, I didn't know when or if I would be good to anybody until I fixed that. And the dating scene was not really, what I've noticed is that there really wasn't a lot of people out there that was down with that. It's, well, if I gotta wait, then you figure things out and call me later type of situations, which is fine for me, because honestly, after 3 marriages, I didn't want to date anything or anybody. And so I began my journey, following everything that God would guide me, and I trusted in what He put into my heart. I trusted everything that He guided me through, and if I had to pray about it and a decision to be made, I always left it up to Him to put me in the right direction. And the crazy thing was that after about 3 months of doing this, I met my current wife, Ryan. And I had told her that, honestly, living with me was like a roller coaster, and hence the introduction, why we even talk about that. But I told him that I can't promise from day to day what's going to happen, but I can tell you this much, is that my relationship with God is the most important thing. And until that is where I need it to be, or when God puts it into my heart that I'm good to go, then I'm just not going to be good for anybody. And she literally looked right at me and said, number one, where do I get the ticket for this roller coaster ride? And number two, I'll wait. What do you mean you'll wait? So she said that she would wait until the time was right, and that's what we focused on. And she said that she wanted to improve her relationship with God as well. So that became our main focus, and the first part of our relationship is our relationship with God, which it improved us and improved our relationship. So when we decided to finally make the commitment that, it's just going to be her and I, or start officially dating per se, that it wasn't going to fail this time. And all I can tell you is that from the middle of 2016 to now, it has been one of the most amazing journeys that I've ever been on with God at our helm. I mean, it just, every time we thought that something was going to go haywire, and all of a sudden my selfishness kicks in to where, oh, I can handle this, I can do this, I'll fix this. I actually sat back and prayed about it and let things kind of play out, and it always works itself out no matter what it is. And that's what we've been trying to instill in a lot of people and a lot of friends, is that I'm not trying to push God on anybody or religion or anything of that sort. All I'm trying to get out there to people is to let you know what God did for me. I mean, He took away everything that I was struggling with. He took away all my pain, all my anger, and now, I mean, every time I feel anything starting to grow, I just pray even harder. And what a life-changing experience. And it's affected so many different things, but the biggest thing is my relationship with my family has grown tenfold. My relationship with one of my sons, who I hadn't spoken to for almost 2 years prior to this, has grown to the point where I see him regularly now, and we hang out. And I mean, how can you deny these particular incidences? I mean, you just can't. I can't even put a lot of it into words, but all I can tell you is that God is amazing, and I wish you all the best, and I hope you enjoyed this, and stick around. Hopefully more will come. Always make sure to subscribe and like our videos. Ring that little bell thingy, and everybody be blessed. Much love to you.